We're here at Reverend booth, and we're at the Pedal Synth Expo in Brooklyn, New York, 2025.
We are.
How has this been going? And when you do an event like this, what is the goal? You do a lot of these trade shows. What do you want to get out of it?
I'm just trying to get the word out. I'm amazed that we're coming up, 28 years of doing this year. Coming up on 29, crazy to me. And I'm amazed at the number of people that really still don't have a handle on what we're doing.
Right.
So I'm working with a dealer here in Brooklyn called Tone Wolf, right? And they actually got all of these guitars that we have here at the show from me beforehand. And so there's a lot of guitars at the different stations for the pedal companies.
Right.
And I'm also letting people borrow guitars out of the booth if they didn't bring their own or whatever. And I had a couple people comment to me yesterday about how they didn't know Billy Corgan was playing Reverends. They didn't know, and they were so surprised when they found out about like this is the new Vernon Reid.
Yeah.
You can see Vern here with it, and Vern was with us yesterday, hanging out here for a little while, and people were just shocked that well, who are you? And I'm like, I've been around for a really long time. So sometimes when I do a show in a new area, like I've never done a show in Brooklyn.
Right.
Before, we get a lot of that. We get a lot of local people that come in and have never heard of us.
Do you feel like just getting guitars in hands is such a big win, just so that people can feel them?
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. But even just educating people to the fact that we exist,
Right.
This business is so funny because obviously our competitors in this business have been around for 100 to 200 years.
Yeah.
I mean, really, some of these companies have been around forever. And they have such a massive legacy. And so doing something new in this business and breaking through is really hard. And the fact that we hit 25 years and we're still growing is amazing.
Yeah.
The number of startups, the number of companies that I've seen come and go in the length of time we've been doing this is wild. So it's encouraging to come. You would think your initial reaction to somebody after so many years, you'd think somebody saying they hadn't heard of us. That actually makes me feel cool because we still have so much work to do. We haven't just maxed out. We haven't sold one of these to everyone who's going to buy one.
Right.
We're still getting movement and energy. And we're having such a good run now with younger people and younger bands and all of this really cool emo shit that's going on right now and all this pop stuff that's going on.
Now,
a lot of female artists, a lot of great things happening.
Yeah, I was going to say to that point, I know you've got on your channel, on your YouTube channel, you have all these great performances now from a lot of bands that you guys are partnering with and having them play Reverends. Is that a big, I noticed that you really are involved with a lot of young people in the music scene. Is that just because you got to kind of get them young and get people to be aware because they're the people who are out playing shows?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I started, right? I collect, everybody knows this, so this isn't a big bombshell.
Right.
I collect Ibanez guitars and vintage Ibanez, 70s and 80s stuff, some 90s stuff even. And I started playing Ibanez because one of my punk rock heroes was playing an RG550, the guitar player for Big Drill Car. It blew me away. And when I was 17, 18 years old. And I've always had a loyalty or an affinity to that brand, you know what I mean? It'll be here if you need it again. Sync working.
Yeah, but just to this point, while we're just here, you guys have great colors.
Thank you.
And I would say, as someone who owns a couple of Reverends, I think seeing them on video or in photos never does them justice to seeing them in person.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You were asking about the younger bands?
Yeah.
One of the things I hear so often in this business is I hear guys my age, old guys,
Right.
guys my age, talking about how the kids aren't playing guitar, and they're just so wrong. There's so much amazing shit going on right now, and a lot of it is finding us organically, and then it's turning into a thing. And of course I actively pursue that. Because I want to be the brand that people grew up with, and 30 years from now, I want people to look back and be like, yeah, man, that stuff was so cool, and they cared about our scene then, and I love all that shit. I'm so excited that there are so many cool and interesting things happening in music right now, and if you don't know about it, just pay attention. It's amazing. look at the artists on my artist page and check out their bands. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I really like about Reverend is the super comfortable to play, right? Really easy to play. Love the necks you guys do, but that bass contour control, that ability to cut bass allows you to take your rail hammer pickups and really sculpt them to sound like different types of guitars, to make them sound kind of like that single coil quack, or however you want to set them up, whatever that sound is you like. And I think a lot of people sometimes keep that bass contour all the way up.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you got to find your special spot,
You do, and it allows you just to have a unique voice.
Right.
We're trying to offer something that is that is really different. Like if we say something's new, it's new.
Right.
It's not the same guitar that we've been making for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 100 years, I don't know, whatever. I mean, our brand isn't held down by the weight of its own legacy. Okay, I know I say that a lot, but I mean, it's like that's the thing. So when signature artists come to me, like this is Robin Fink from Nine Inch Nails' signature guitar. When Robin comes to me looking for something very specific for what he does in Nine Inch Nails, which is a really specific kind of tone, and he wants to have his own voice within that band, he comes to us because he knows that we're not just going to give him the same thing over and over again. We can actually, these Railhammer chisel pickups that are in this guitar, just throw a ton of mid-range that in like a noise rock, like industrial, but like noisy band situation where things are very, very specifically distorted. Having all that extra mid-range allows him to have his own voice within that setting. So it's a fantastic thing for a band like Nine Inch Nails. And maybe this guitar isn't going to work for everybody. Or my favorite thing, of course, is when somebody takes a guitar that has that in mind and then plays something completely different with it, like shoegaze or something, and you're like, whoa, like that crazy thing that we articulated for this guy really works well for this thing over here too. And it's, man, it's exciting and fun.
Well, I think to the Vernon Reid, right? He wanted this blacked out hardware or gold hardware. What's the hardware on this? I'm forgetting now.
That one's got chrome.
Oh, that one's got the chrome.
But there's 4 different versions of that guitar now.
But the point being
that 3
that
different graphic versions, we did.
You make what they want.
Make what they want.
Right.
Yeah, these guitars are all dialed into exactly what the artist.
Right. The Greg Koch uses his Fishman pickups versus the Railhammers because that's what he wants.
That's what he plays. Right. This guitar on the other side, this is Reeves Gabrel's Space Hawk guitar.
Ian, why don't you zoom out so we can get some wider shots here.
But Reeves, we designed this guitar specifically for Reeves's gig in The Cure.
Right.
From pickups to the way the body is designed to the way the Bigsby is set up. And Reeves really got into this to exactly how far away he wanted the Bigsby to be from the bridge, because there's this thing he likes to do with harmonic overtones. And every little detail of that guitar was thought about for Reeves's gig with The Cure. And so if you're a big fan of Reeves or a big fan of The Cure or whatever, that's the actual guitar he tours with.
Right.
Like, it's not, he doesn't have some sort of special custom version that we made for him. We took his custom appointments and put it on the guitar that we sell to the public. And same with Vern and Corgan and Robin and Greg and the younger bands too. We do signature models for Chris and Ryan from Hot Mulligan, and those guitars are dialed into exactly what they're using in Hot Mulligan and exactly the specific specs that they like and whatnot.
Now, in terms of special specs that someone likes, Ken's got his own new guitar, Ken's Signature, just came out last week or something like this. Do you want? I don't see it here today, but why don't you tell everyone a little bit about it? Because you deserve some love. So come on.
We're calling it the Ken Special, and I play in a band called Jay Navarro and the Traders, and it's like a ska punk band, and we've been gigging for years, and I think the band is celebrating its 10th anniversary, and Jay Navarro from the Suicide Machines, of course, and we have a really good time with the band, and after touring a little bit, I started using one of our older Matt West models, and I started thinking, I really like Billy's pickup. There's things that I like. I like reverse headstocks. I like bound necks on bolt-ons. I think they're cool looking. It's non-traditional, but I think they're cool looking.
They're cool looking.
So I sort of threw together this guitar with all the stuff I like. And then, of course, it's black because I only ever learned how to play black guitars. I never learned how to play any of the other colors.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, it's such an obnoxious thing to say, and I make fun of it when other people say it. But, like, truly, because I play it so often, dealers and fans of the company have been like, when are you going to make your guitar? And I'm always like, I can't do that. Who do I look like? Paul Reid Smith? No.
Well, yeah, no, I mean,
And then, but then, so as we are rolling into 20, I know, I just threw the barb out at Paul. Sorry.
I mean, we like you, Paul.
Yeah, no. But we're...
Well, there's a story there. I don't know.
No, there's no
story. No story. Okay.
No story. So we, as we're rolling into 2026, we're making a lot of changes in the line.
Yeah.
And so just as a sort of a way for us to move through some inventory and keep selling things right up to the point where the new guitars launch, we did a lot of short runs this year. Right. The 10th anniversary Descent guitars are beautiful.
And those are incredible baritones.
Yeah.
Everyone, if you want a baritone, don't bother with anything else. That's the one you want. Trust me. I played them all. I played them all.
So we're doing a lot of special runs this year and a lot of limited, like 24 pieces, whatever, blah blah blah. And I just thought it would be fun to make 24 of my guitar, just to have one, because really the platform that guitar is on, more or less, like I said, there's gonna be a lot of changes next year. Okay. So while we were still doing something like that, I wanted to just acknowledge it, and it's cool, and they're great. And I don't have one here because I think we sold them all.
That's amazing.
I think they all went to dealers already. I don't know that we have any of them left. So, yeah. And I want to take one to the Philly show, so I was kind of setting one back, because our next adventure will be the Fall Philly Guitar Festival, first weekend in November. I think it's coming up in like 3 weeks. Time flies.
Now, just about these little short runs, and I don't want to take up all your time.
No, what's up?
But like, is part of that also just to stimulate the PR machine, the YouTube, social media world, just to get noise so people pay attention?
Yeah, that always factors into it. Sure, yeah, there's a little of that.
There's a little bit of marketing element to it.
But like,
and that doesn't mean they're bad guitars.
No, absolutely not. And the thing is, it's cool. It's fun to me, because sometimes we do some like we're already like an alternative brand, right?
Right.
And then sometimes, and we do some kooky guitars, but sometimes we want to do something like really kooky.
Right.
And it's hard to throw something that is really designed for a specific person out there into the world for mass consumption. Like really, if you're doing a really weird colorway or a really odd set of features or something. And so it is fun to do short runs like that, because it's a way that we can really see how something's going to be perceived, okay? And then if it's perceived, like the first avocado guitar was like, we'll make 24 of those. That guitar that color's too odd. And then people freaked, and we sold them in 3 days.
Yeah, I love a green guitar.
Yeah, I do too. And like green guitars were not happening for a while. And then all of a sudden they got really, and that avocado burst, the thing that we do that looks like a 70s fridge. I mean, it's slowing down now, but that started as a special run and ended up being a part of the line for 5 or 6 years.
Incredible.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of everything. There's a lot of different reasons to do it.
Now, when we last talked, we were coming out of COVID. There had been CITES restrictions on rosewood, and I asked you at the time, what was the next thing you guys were like trying to pivot around, anticipate, like, because the market, you never know what's going to happen, and you said we just have to wait and see. Yeah. So my question now is, you guys, these are made in South Korea.
They are.
How is, without getting super political, how is tariffs affecting a brand like Reverend?
It sucks, but it's affected every brand.
Right.
So I mean, company of origin, which of course for here is the U.S. Country of origin, where things are made. I'm doing soft cases in India. I'm doing guitars in South Korea. I'm doing hard cases in Canada, and then I'm also looking at doing like a few, like a small part of our production is going to be coming from a small factory in Indonesia now, and it's not the Court factory. It's another kind of like Mir in Korea, it's another really small family-run business that specializes in semi-hollow things, and they do amazing work. But the tariff on Indonesia is insane. But like, so, and I'll explain this because I'll talk about this till I'm blue in the face. I have, when we started doing the Korean builds, I got a lot of pushback from that, and it's a very uniquely American trait, right? And it's fine. I understand it, and I understand a lot of the older generation that's coming from. Like, I get it, okay? But what I've tapped into in Korea is 3 generations of guitar building, and they do incredible work. And they are the best suited company to realize Joe Naylor's vision of guitar building, okay? So the idea that I'm just gonna hire some people and build a guitar factory here and start making guitars as nice as these guitars is kind of crazy, right? Because we don't have experience building guitars. Joe does himself, and
on
Joe,
an individualized level,
right? And he's a brilliant designer, and we put all of this machine together to sell these things. And the way our business is set up, it makes sense for us to tap into the history that Mir has to build the guitars, or the history that this newer company, they're called Mieri, the history that they have to build guitars. And so anywhere else in the world, that question of, well, where's it made? Like, doesn't resonate as hard as it does here in the US, because when you're in England or Germany, or when you're in South Africa, or you're in Brazil or whatever, people know that they know how to build shit in Korea and Japan. And like people understand that.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I know where my TV came from. You're right.
Right. I mean, and so it's like, and so we've built this sort of global economy. And the thing that's amazing about it to me is the U.S. afforded me the opportunity to start a business here where I can import product from 4 different countries and export products. Currently, we export guitars and cases and things like that to about 44 different countries around the world, which is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And so the impact that the tariffs have on this stuff isn't just in my importing things, but it is also in my exporting things, as other countries and dealers that I've been dealing with around the globe are reluctant to do business with us because their countries have retaliated against the tariffs, and it's put a whole damp on global trade. And really just on America. I mean, I know you didn't want to get.
No.
I know you didn't want to get all political about this.
I think this is
but
important,
like
though.
But other, if you're like, again, if you're standing in France right now, what do you give a shit about any of this?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so our business is sort of suffering from that concept. And then the flip side of that too is, for the people who say to just adapt, thinking about it all the way through. So for the guitars that are being built in the US right now, you haven't heard a lot about tariff stuff yet, but in America, we don't have Carina or mahogany or rosewood or any of the things that guitars are made out of. And as the stockpile of those woods start to run down, the price of American guitars is going to go up. Yes, we have some hard rock maple from the northern U.S., of course, but the majority of the maple that's used in guitar building comes from Canada as well. And then the parts, I mean, like your...
the aluminum and the steel pieces,
Yeah, well, and precision engineered small parts, even the Floyds, because we use Floyds that are done in Korea, and so many of the small machine parts come from other countries.
Right.
And we don't make like capacitors in the US anymore, which is why the pedal industry is having such a difficult time adjusting to all of this stuff, because it's an industry that we don't have here, that's not coming back here.
Right. We haven't had
like we've moved on from that. We have a different kind of economy. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the kind of economy that we have is bad. It just means that it's different. And so there are so many companies like mine that have taken advantage of global trade. On top of all of that, right? I pay rent on a 12,000 square foot building, and I support 14 families out of my building with my employees, and we support all of our dealers sell these guitars and support their families with it too. So I mean, there's a lot involved here that is affected by these very like rash decisions, and then people, I think, come up with very rash opinions about it without thinking about the sort of the global impact of what's going on. Now, are we going to be okay? Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, it is what it. Lucky for, knock on wood, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, lucky for me, like we've established ourselves for a really long time, and I'm really comfortable with where we're going, and we have a really strong fan base, and my artists and my dealers really support us and are helping us through all of this too. So I think we're going to be in good shape, but is it affecting us? Yeah, sure, of course it is.
Because everything comes into the U.S. for its full setup and all that like magic that happens, and then you got to export it out again to UK or wherever, right?
Yep.
So you're getting hit double, sort of.
In some places, yes, of course, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Again, that was way too heavy. And way too
that
long.
was fine.
But I mean that is what's going on out there, and I mean I'm pretty open about how the business works, you know. So there you have it. I guess.
I know, that's cool. I love that transparency. People need to get educated about that. And specifically, like you mentioned with the pedals. I mean, this is a big pedal show.
Yeah.
And you know that was those components aren't available, and I think a lot of these smaller brands are really feeling that. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. And this is our business model. And I don't think that my business model is the correct business model. I just think it's a business model. You know, I like what Paul does. I love what John Suhr does. I like what these people do.
Yeah.
It's just that I didn't set up my company to sell $4,000, $5,000 guitars. You know, we wanted to make guitars for players to be played, to be taken out on the road. I mean, going back to what we said earlier, I mean, Robin Fink, he could play anything he wanted to, and he chooses to play this. You know what I mean? So we're obviously doing something right, because of all the pros that we have involved, and we can get out there and like do interesting and unique stuff. And I just want to continue to be able to do that. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. And by the same token, I just like guitars, man.
Yeah. We've talked about this. You love guitars, and you love those Ibanez's. And if you follow kind of on Instagram, you'll see you're always showing photos of other guitars at other trade shows, and occasionally sneakily a few home.
Yeah, it happens. It happens for sure. Yeah, it's a really fun business, and I'm very, very lucky to be a part of it.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Hey, thanks for paying attention.
Anything here we need to pay attention to? You want to talk about Sentinel bass? How are their basses doing?
The basses are doing great, and there's going to be a lot of changes to the basses coming up, and not as fast as the guitars. But that Sentinel bass has really been, it's been our best-selling bass here lately. That and the Watt. I think we've Naylor has sort of discovered the secret formula to making a short scale bass that sounds really big and fat and full. And because it's not I was explaining this to somebody just yesterday. For a lot of the shorter scale basses that are out on the marketplace right now they're afterthoughts. They're designed to be smaller. They're designed to be beginner basses. They're not really thought about as pro level instruments.
That have not been updated and have a lot of flaws.
And so what we're doing with the Sentinel and what we're doing with Mike Watt's bass is, we're making like pro level tour ready short scale basses that sound huge, that have addressed all the issues of the legacy instruments, and they're just ripping. So yeah, the Sentinel bass has been a really, really big thing.
Well, I'm gonna sneak a few plays on that later, because that's in my list of basses, because I need a new bass, and that's been high on my list. So. All right, I think that's it for now.
Thanks for stopping in.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry if I got a little windy there.
No, we love windy. Okay, thanks, Ken.
You bet.
I really do appreciate it.